A breakthrough for scientists after they had a 20-minute conversation with a humpback whale.
Did it say I'm tired of fish? I'm tired of plankton. So this team, including a professor from UC Davis, is hoping for more interspecies dialogue following this groundbreaking exchange.
Imagine a world where humanity finally learns to talk to another intelligent species. Not from space, but from the ocean's depths. Thanks to AI, that day has arrived. But what the whales are saying might change how we see ourselves forever.
A group of scientists had a 20-minute conversation with a female humpback whale, and they say this is just the beginning.
For centuries, the ocean has kept its secrets well. Sailors returning from long, perilous journeys told stories of eerie songs echoing from the depths, melodies that seemed too haunting to come from mere animals. To most, they were legends, or just another wonder of the sea.
This is the sound of sperm whales. With a brain that can weigh up 18 pounds and a lifespan of more than 200 years, they're considered to be among the most intelligent animals.
But in the 1970s, everything changed. A new wave of environmental awareness swept across the world, and scientists started to take a deeper interest in the creatures we once hunted. Among them were the humpback whales, massive, gentle giants whose songs carried for miles beneath the water.
Hey, next time you want to say, how are you? What's up? Any good fish? Whatever. In other words, more of a vocabulary, and so we want to develop the software for that.
When researchers first recorded these sounds, they were stunned. The songs weren't random. They had structure, phrases, repetitions, even variations that evolved over time. These weren't just noises, they were compositions. The discovery was released as an album, Songs of the Humpback Whale, and it changed public perception forever. The world realized for the first time that maybe, just maybe, whales had something to say. That single album sparked global conservation efforts and saved humpbacks from extinction. But even then, one question lingered in scientists' minds. What are they saying?
Using clicks called codas. And now to say we are closer than ever to actually understanding them. Thank you.
Decades passed, and despite advances in marine research, we still couldn't crack the code. We could hear the sounds, but we couldn't understand them. That is, until a marine biologist named Dr. David Gruber asked a daring question. What if the intelligent life we've been searching for isn't out there in the stars, but right here in our oceans?
They were only allotted 20 minutes to communicate with the whale, but she stuck around for more.
After our 20-minute period of playbacks was over, we turned off our speaker.
Gruber, a National Geographic explorer, believed that to understand whales, humanity needed a completely new approach, one that didn't just involve biology, but technology. He turned to a field that had nothing to do with marine life, but everything to do with decoding alien messages, SETI, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence.
To Harvard University's new micro-robotics lab, where researchers at Project CETI are using artificial intelligence to decode the click.
If scientists could design systems to listen for signals from outer space, why couldn't they use the same principles to listen to whales? And that idea gave birth to something extraordinary. Project CETI, the Cetacean Translation Initiative.
It was like, hey, maybe another time we can meet up, or who knows, right?
The scientists made several attempts for getting a successful response.
And we really got nothing until the particular encounter.
Project CETI brought together an unprecedented mix of minds: marine biologists, AI experts, linguists, engineers, roboticists, all united by one goal to decode the language of whales in one day, maybe even talk back.
Happened to come across her, how we proceed.
Among them was Dr. Shane Jarrow, a marine biologist who spent over a decade studying a single family of sperm whales off the coast of Dominica. Jarrow wasn't just a researcher, he was practically part of the family. He knew each whale by name, watched them grow, and recorded their every sound. His years of intimate fieldwork provided the perfect foundation for CETI. But this time, the team had a new tool: artificial intelligence, the kind of technology that could process billions of whale vocalizations, something no human could ever do alone. Dominica, with its deep volcanic waters and stable whale population, became the beating heart of Project CETI. It was one of the few places on Earth where sperm whales came close enough to shore to be observed year-round.
Trying to understand non-human species communicate.
Pretty fascinating, right? The scientists will use encounter to explore other interspecies communications, even plan to...
In 2020, the project officially launched with a massive $33 million grant from the TED Audacious Project. With that, the team began building what could only be described as an an underwater listening studio, a sprawling 20-kilometer grid of hydrophones placed along the ocean floor.
This is what it looks like through the goggle.
David Gruber is the project's founder and president.
You're dealing with an incredibly complex Morse code click type with infinite amount of possibilities.
These weren't ordinary microphones. They could pick up the faintest sounds, from a distant whale's click to the subtle rumble of a moving pod. Working in perfect synchronization, they allowed scientists to map exactly who was speaking, where they were, and even the social situation at that moment. It was like placing hundreds of high-tech ears beneath the sea, an orchestra pit tuned to the rhythm of whale conversation.
Conversations.
It's possible that they're communicating in ways that we've never thought of before.
Project CETI has turned to the Caribbean and the island of Dominica.
But hearing wasn't enough. To truly understand what the whales were saying, scientists needed context. How could they know whether a click meant "come here" or "watch out"? Was it a warning, a greeting, or a lullaby?
Finding to develop what they're calling intelligence filters for the search for extraterrestrial intelligence.
To solve that, Project CETI deployed a fleet of specially designed drones and underwater robots. These machines carefully attached suction cup tags to the whales' backs, non-invasive sensors that recorded not just audio but also movement, depth, and even heart rate. By combining this physical data with the sound recordings, the team could begin to connect the dots. When a whale made a certain sound while diving or socializing, AI could cross-reference that with similar moments in other recordings. It was the missing link. The context needed to turn sound into meaning. And as the recordings poured in, the scale of what they were collecting became mind-boggling. Billions of clicks, thousands of hours, the largest whale communication dataset in human history. This was no longer guesswork. This was data-driven decoding.
Whales, we want to understand them as minimally invasive as possible.
So far, the team has discovered sperm whales have their own phonetic alphabet, even vowel, uncovered while observing rare scenes like this, a sperm whale birth.
12 whales hold the baby above water for 6 hours.
To us, the ocean soundscape is just chaos. Echoes, bubbles, clicks, and crashes. But I could see what we couldn't. The team converted every sound into a spectrogram, a kind of visual map that represents sound as color and shape. To the human eye, it looked abstract, but to machine learning models, it was language waiting to be learned.
We know they're living very complicated, very social.
The hope is that one day, for the first time, we'll be able to have full conversations. What do humans have to gain from a conversation with a sperm whale?
The AI combed through millions of these patterns, identifying recurring sequences called codas the click clusters sperm whales use to communicate. At first, the codas seemed random, but slowly patterns began to emerge. Certain rhythms appeared only when calves were present, others repeated in the presence of specific family groups. Some codas were short and urgent, others long and melodic. Using deep learning and neural networks, the AI began to recognize these connections. Like a baby learning its first words, it started to understand.
With a sperm whale.
It has the capacity to bring us closer to the natural world in a way that the microscope allowed us to see inside a cell, or a telescope allowed us to stars.
It's like a whole new frontier.
Soon, the system noticed variations that no human ear could ever detect. Tiny shifts in rhythm, minuscule pauses, and additional ornamentations that changed meaning entirely. It was as if whales were using clicks the way we use syllables, building complex structures out of simple sounds. And that's when the researchers realized this wasn't random noise, it was language.
Oh, I just saw a whale. Really?
It's feeding time for humpback whales off of California's central coast.
Oh, whales behind us.
For centuries, humans have considered language our defining feature, the thing that separates us from the rest of the animal kingdom. But the whales shattered that illusion. The AI revealed that their communication wasn't just a set of instinctive calls. It was structured, layered, and cultural.
Of the largest tooth predator on the planet, an animal bigger than a school bus with perhaps the most sophisticated form of communication that has ever existed.
Each whale family or clan had its own dialect, a unique variation of the same language, passed down through generations. The rhythm and tempo of clicks could shift slightly depending on who was speaking and who they were speaking to. Even more astonishing, the same coda could mean different things depending on context, much like how the word fine can be polite, sarcastic, or annoyed depending on tone. This wasn't simple mimicry, this was real linguistic complexity, comparable in some ways to human speech. Suddenly, a profound truth became clear. Whales didn't just live in the ocean, they lived in cultures.
The cold water offering the whales an all-you-can-eat buffet of anchovies and krill.
Whoa!
In 2023, Project CETI made history. During a deep-sea expedition, the team played a specific whale coda through an underwater speaker, a sound pattern the AI had identified as a kind of greeting. Then silence. Moments later, a whale nearby responded with the exact same coda. It wasn't an echo, it wasn't random, it was a reply. That short exchange, just a few seconds long, was the first known instance of intentional communication between humans and whales. A small step for science, but a giant leap for understanding.
These are the sounds of the mighty sperm whale, a fellow mammal that can dive almost a mile, hold its breath for more than an hour.
But with discovery comes a dilemma. Should we even be trying to talk to whales? Some scientists warn that by inserting ourselves into their communication network, we risk altering it. If whales begin to recognize human-made patterns, it could shift how they communicate with one another. Others fear we might cross a moral boundary, using technology to intrude into a society we barely understand.
Now with just a camera, photos from scientists and the public are helping researchers track whales anywhere around the world.
You can really see that whale there.
Dr. Gruber's team is well aware of this. Their approach remains rooted in respect. They aim to communicate on the whales' terms, in their language, not ours. The goal isn't control or curiosity, it's a connection. Still, the question lingers. When we finally understand what the whales are saying, are we ready for the answer?
Complex matriarchal societies. These clicks you heard, called codas, are just a facet of what we know of their communication. We know these animals are communicating, we just don't yet know what they're saying.
What's happening under the sea has implications that stretch far beyond Earth's waters. Project CETI's methods, using AI to decode unknown communication systems, could one day help us decipher alien languages, should we ever encounter them. In a strange twist of fate, the key to interstellar communication might have been swimming beneath us all along.
Over the next 5 years, our team of AI specialists, roboticists, linguists, and marine biologists aim to use the most cutting-edge technologies to make contact with another species, and hopefully communicate back.
The parallels between CETI and SETI are intentional. Both are searches for intelligence. Both rely on finding structure in what appears to be noise. And both remind us of a humbling truth. The universe might already be speaking. We just need to learn how to listen.
Relationship with all life on this planet. This, of course, seems like an impossible goal. People have been trying to make contact with other animals for hundreds of years. How could we do what others could not?
But perhaps the most powerful revelation from all this isn't scientific, it's emotional. For the first time, we can see whales not as distant animals, but as fellow minds, creatures with societies, traditions, and maybe even stories. Imagine what it means if these giants, who've roamed the oceans for millions of years, have been holding conversations all this time, discussing, teaching, comforting, warning, while humanity never realized. Understanding them forces us to rethink our place in nature. It blurs the line between human and animal, intelligence and instinct, speech and song. It reminds us that we're not the only storytellers on this planet.
A siren song being broadcast from the darkest reaches of the sea. These weren't the typical harmonious whale song that I'd been accustomed to. These sounded more like digital data transfer. We assembled the future Project CETI team.
Project CETI isn't done. Far from it. The team is now expanding to study other whale species like orcas and belugas, each with their own vocal complexities. The AI continues to evolve, learning not just to translate, but to converse in real time. Soon, humanity might have an underwater chat bot capable of holding genuine exchanges with whales, asking questions, sharing sounds, even forming bonds. It sounds like science fiction, but it's happening. Right now, the ocean, once silent and mysterious, is beginning to speak, and for the first time in history, we can answer.
And began discussing how to use the most advanced technologies to communicate with whales. One of the principal conclusions was that machine learning had a really good chance of understanding the patterns of sperm whale communication.
This is more than a story about whales. It's a story about us. About our relentless curiosity, our hunger to connect, and our willingness to see intelligence in unexpected places. Through AI, we've learned that language isn't limited to words or symbols. It's the rhythm of connection, the pulse of understanding, the bridge between minds. No matter the species, the whales were never mute, we just weren't listening. And now that we are, the question is, what will we do with what they have to say? So what do you think? Are we ready to hold a real conversation with another intelligent species? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a deep dive like this.